Let's turn that volume down. Just learning how to do all this stuff. Cool, cool, cool. So I've got one person waiting right now, and I'm experimenting with doing this live on YouTube, which we'll never do this publicly other than this one time. I'm thinking that if this works, I could use the YouTube live stream, make it private for our patrons, and they can go back and watch it again later. So that's sort of what I'm thinking here with what I'm doing, and I haven't really tried it on YouTube yet, so we'll see. My experience has been that, you know, YouTube live Zoom sessions have not been as good because the screen turns into, you know, the Hollywood squares, and it's really, everything's really small, and you know, but who knows, maybe people are used to that, you know, maybe it'll work. So I'll have to see. I'll have to look at it. All right, so we got a couple more minutes, so yeah. All right. Greetings, 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 Argentina. And the first one there, P-A-R-E. That's cool. Cool. So yeah, we're just waiting for our patrons to start filtering into the waiting room, and usually takes a little while. Usually it's just about 5 minutes before the session where everyone starts to cruise in. So if you're watching on YouTube at all, what I'm doing right now is I'm just experimenting with hosting our live Patreon sessions on YouTube. And I'm making it public just for the fuck of it. So we'll see how it goes. But moving forward, we'll probably do an unlisted link, and I'm going to see if this will allow me to record these sessions so that the people that pay for Patreon can go back and watch it again if they missed it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. So hopefully it'll work out well, and hopefully it'll be a nice treat for you that don't get to ever sit in on these sessions where I basically break down an entire song live. It's pretty fucking cool. I can actually go in and break all this down. Pretty cool. Isolate everything. Pretty cool. Pretty fun. All right. Doing pretty good here. See if you YouTube people can. Valentina Nugebauer. Hello Ryan, how are you? I am great, Valentina. Do I put at Valentina? Thank you. Marcos Lopez. Hell yes, Ryan. Cool, 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 cool. So it'll be interesting to go back and check some of these comments as I'm working here. See if people that don't subscribe to Patreon actually enjoy this. I think it'd be kind of a cool little experiment. I won't be paying attention to you guys really a lot because I'm going to be paying attention to the patrons that are on the Zoom. Let me check. Got Rudy. Check this. Dregs of the world.
To swallow my pain, stop.
You guys hear this on YouTube?
Inside, I'm wasting away. I'm feeling insane.
Me learning how to type would be like the biggest fucking game changer ever. Jesus Christ, so horrible. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom before we start the session, and I'll be right back. good in the command center. Got 1 minute to go. Usually I wait a little bit though because I want to let as many of our patrons get into the session. Typically we have a lot of people waiting right now. We only have about 15 people waiting right now, which is not as many as usual. So that's cool. That's even more reason to make this whole concept of me being able to record it on YouTube more relevant. Adema, yeah, we are doing some great stuff with Adema. Super stoked. Cool. So I'm logged in as myself in the Julien-K YouTube. That's awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. It's 11 now. So we will start letting people in a second. As we start getting this all fucking filled up. Let me write you guys a little message. Hello. Hello, guys. And I wonder sometimes if people can... people can see that in there. All right. See what's going on over here at YouTube. Hello. So guys on YouTube, you guys are watching me get ready to do a live DECODE radio session. And DECODE radio is where I break down one of our deep cut tracks for our Patreon subscribers, and we do it live with our patrons, and it's in real time, and it's a little better than the YouTube version. The reason I'm doing this on YouTube live right now is because I'm going to see if I can get these sessions to be recorded into YouTube so that our patrons can go back and watch them later. I just decided to go ahead and do it publicly and just see if people would actually watch, and it looks like there are people there. So yeah, I'm gonna get ready to go live in a minute. Bradley Lewis, so you say you can't message me on Zoom. It's probably because you're not in the Zoom yet. You're just in the waiting room. So I'll let you in a second. And sorry about that. Alberto, when do we have new music from all the projects you were involved in? Well, I just dropped a new single Friday in Julien-K, and Adema's gonna drop a new single on the 24th of this month with a video. So pretty cool. All right. Let's see, got enough people to let everyone in. Start the song. Admitting everything. Yeah. Let's see what that looks like. Oh good, everyone can hear it. Got everyone here. Oh yes, nice. Get a full room. Cool. So welcome, Alberto. Ali, everyone is awesome. Cool. Got Sean, got Rudy here, Peter, Kid, got Jason. Love you guys. Damone, yeah. Love it. I'm so glad, Chris. That's so fucking cool, man. His favorite song 10 years ago. Fuck, that's so cool. I'll talk about this more. I'm surprised that I'm happy that everyone actually really likes this song. This is like a big song for me. Cool. Just giving it a little time for everyone to filter in. paying attention to YouTube as well, because I'm a fucking octopus apparently. Yeah, Chris, that's awesome. Damone saying hello. Cool. Oh, this is cool. It's not crunching the picture on YouTube as much as I thought it would. That's super cool. Maybe it does more. Oh, good. Good. Moderately pleased with YouTube right now. Kathy, never heard it before. That's awesome. That's super cool. Jean-Francois Begueron, if I fucking butchered your name. I'm glad you're here too. Oh, nice, Jason. I can't wait to hear which synths you're talking about. It's one of the songs that I actually get some significant synthesizer credit on. Just wait for everyone's audio to connect. Rob is out mowing the lawn. That's amazing, dude. That's so fucking cool, man. I love that shit. We got Brandon popping in, trying to connect. Let's see where Rob is. Oh yeah, cool. He's down there, muted. Good boy. Very cool. Oh, Damone, I'll get into it in a minute. That's such a good question. Fuck, dude. It's driving me fucking crazy. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. You can see, oh, maybe you can't see, but we got synthesizers behind me. I got a synthesizer right here. It's driving me fucking crazy, dude. Maybe, Damone. How is Lyrical? Dude, it's right behind synth hell. Cool, got some more people entering the room. Cool, a lot more people. Nice. It's a good technique to just have the song go to let people come in. It's fucking... I love that fucking synth. It's so cool. Mr. Corey, yeah, Chris, what's up, Demont? I love that everyone in this room is friends. It's really cool. Yeah, Ishmael. What's up, buddy? Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, now we're getting spammed in YouTube as well. Naked sex girls is what it just said. That's so weird. Don't know how to deal with that. Hey guys, how you doing? Right on. Thank you guys for joining me. This is super fun and different in some ways from the last sessions because I've been home now for a little bit. I'm getting my shit together and I was actually able to prepare this morning and get my shit together. So for me, I'm in a really good place to do this session and that's super fun for me. So a couple things. You guys know that we're always trying to figure out how to make things work and we read your guys' comments and stuff and we're always trying to figure out how to record these sessions. And at first I didn't want to at all, but I realized that a lot of people who are, good paying members of Patreon, they don't get to join us live. So I am experimenting right now with simultaneously broadcasting this on YouTube. Now I have it live right now. I won't normally do that. I'm just doing it just to fucking see if it works. And I know I tried it before and I didn't like it, but I think that I hear enough from people that I've met now. I've met you guys in person at shows, and I know that, you guys aren't just a bunch of, we filter out kind of the assholes. So when you guys want something, I want to do it. And so if you guys want these recorded, I'm going to try to broadcast the Zoom sessions on Patreon on an unlisted link, and then I'll post the link later so that people can go back and watch it or listen to it, or the people that missed it can go back and watch it. And the better and better we're getting at using YouTube, the more I can maybe do. Right now we use Vimeo a lot because it's just the only way I can control the video, like, you know, little monologues and stuff that I do to keep you guys updated on tour and everything. If I could use YouTube, it would be much easier. You know, Vimeo costs money and there's a lot of issues with it. It's not as ubiquitous. YouTube's more ubiquitous for the end user, but YouTube is also just about the most fucking nightmarish fucking product to use. I really don't enjoy using it because it's really, really hard, and now I'm getting bombed with like porn stuff. I wish I could. How do I report it? Unwanted pornography. Great. Report. Great. Okay, well that was kind of easy. That's cool. So pretty gross, but that's cool. So anyways, yeah, and we should talk Twitch, and I know that I also need to get the moderation set up for Discord. I know it seems like an old story, probably 2 months old, but for me, there are these to-do lists, and in them was, as you guys know now, I have a single to release. That takes a ton of time. We shot video for it, all kind of stuff. I've been editing and creating the videos myself, so it just gets into a whole mess of work, and so we just fall behind on little points. We have a new Edema single coming out at the end of the month, and there's going to be a full video and everything, and it's probably one of the best songs we've ever done, so it's going to be pretty fucking cool. But it's just been a lot of busy work, you know, sitting at a computer, and then when I get away from the computer, I just want to get on my motorcycle and fucking get the fuck out of here. But I actually hadn't even ridden my motorcycle for a week and a half, so that's insane. So yeah, we'll talk Twitch. I'm totally down to do that. And yeah, let's get into it, because I got a motorcycle ride after this, so I got to be ready in time. So, dregs of the world. So, when we moved to Europe, here's Berlin in 2011, we moved there to sort of put together our European business, our you know, all the neglect that Orgy and all the bands that I've been in for so long of Europe really, really bothered us. And so we literally moved to Europe. I rented out my house here, and we moved the entire band over there for months and months and months, and we flew over there a lot. And we did a lot of touring. We rented a place in Berlin, and we just lived there and did short little tours, because in Europe you can do that. It's a lot easier. It's like touring Texas, you know, it's just a lot smaller, and you can live in Berlin and just kind of go around and play shows and not have it be such a, you know, in America it's a serious proposition to get out of California or get out of Texas. You know, that's a 10-hour proposition, and it gets expensive. So it's easier to do a big tour in America, and in Europe you can do smaller stuff. So we moved over there and lived there, and we worked with that, you know, that criminal Daniel Herdman, and that was a tricky time. At the time we were all friends, and this is before he turned around and tried to, you know, actually stole all of our equipment and tried to release our music without our permission, all this kind of good stuff. Everything was all good back then. And so we were living in Berlin, and that's when I got this tattoo, Berlin 2011. It's also when we got back the rights of all our publishing from the days of signing huge publishing deals and everything. So it was a big, crazy time. I was in a crazy relationship, and there was all this, you know, crazy stuff going, which kind of plays into, you know, this song and all that kind of stuff. So this song, Dregs of the World, was something that we were playing live so much in the We're Here With You kind of realm. This was kind of a heavier song, guitar heavy song, and it was written largely on stage, which is actually unique for us. You know, because we're an electronic band mainly, and we're a guitar driven electronic band, but we write most of our stuff. Thank you, Damone, asking how my synth wars are going. We write a lot of our stuff on a synthesizer and drum machine, and then play guitars and stuff, and that's kind of our process. But when we get out on tour, we start to become a very, very good live band. And when we're on stage sound checking, if we have time, if we're like the headliner and stuff, which we were for a lot of those shows, you know, we're playing guitar together and writing parts and doing stuff. And we ended up starting to kind of write this song. And this was coincidentally around the time when I was playing a lot of guitar in every song and singing. And I was becoming, like I was in Orgy, I was becoming a really good singer and guitar player. And the thing about that is that to sing and play guitar, you do, it is a perishable skill in my opinion. You have to be doing it a lot. And like right now, I'd probably be terrible at it. But at my best, I can get really, really good, and I can just sing a, full on sing a song, and just, here, I'm gonna do this for. Oh no, that didn't work. I was gonna do this for the audience. What did I just do? Okay, that's not really working. Shoot, no, I can't get back to my place. View. There we go. Oh my gosh, now I'm fucking with all sorts of stuff here. Sorry guys. I'm trying to make this look a little better for the YouTube thing. One of the things I don't like about YouTube is that sometimes it's just too tiny of a bunch of little squares, so I'm trying to fix that. Anyways, so right now I'd probably be a pretty terrible singer and guitar player, but being over there playing all these shows as like just a regular lifestyle, I became really, really good at singing and playing, and I was getting to a point where I could almost sing and play better than I could just play alone. This song was one of those songs where I'm playing the entire time, and it's a bunch of playing. There's all sorts of different key changes and chord changes and all this cool stuff. And the only saving grace is that it's pretty straight, dun 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 dun. But you have to do dun 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 dun, and you got to sing the chorus with those odd time changes. And I was super gratified. It was a really fun song every night to play because I was able to play that so well and do it. And it's just a weird feeling. It's to be able to pull it off is like such a fucking cool feeling. Like James Hetfield just must be in heaven every night when being able to do all that shit and sing so well. It's like so cool. And all these guys that are just such good guitar players, singers. And I just know for me, because, we're not the biggest band in the world, it isn't as often when I get to play, 60, 70 shows in like, 4 or 5 month period where it's just becoming so regular. You go home for a week or two and then you go back out and play a bunch of shows, go home for a week or two, and that's a bitchin' fucking thing when you're a musician. And so I really just learned how to become a guitar player, singer, just even better there, and a real lead singer playing complicated guitar parts. And this song was that for me. And lyrically it touches on, it's kind of like the beginning of a bunch of kind of thought, branches that I still kind of go on today, and I was sort of exploring it in this song, and I think it'll be interesting to go through the lyric side, and I have the lyrics up right here. So let's see if that is visible on. Oh my gosh, are we still getting spammed? Okay, great. All right. See. Okay, cool. Well, it looks like on YouTube all of this is being mirrored really well. So, okay, cool. So yeah, so the song is, lyrically, definitely opens a lot of doors to where I am now, and touches on a lot of subjects that, were a big deal for me, and definitely chronicles a time in my life. And I think it's going to be pretty cool to go through. But first off, holy Moses. Let's take a look at this song. So we originally recorded this song. You can see, I mean, it's quite a fucking complicated, deal here. I mean, you can see just the loops. It's one of those unique things where the loops alone are, making up so much of the drums. Like you can, I mean, that's almost enough. That's almost enough like drums to make a track, right? And then you put on top of it, you go, let's add the drums in. It's almost like fills, right? You can hear Elias he's such a dope drummer. But it really is, the loops are the main thing, right? I mean, it's the end of the day, it's that loop mess there. But look at all the percussion. I mean, this is all percussion. It's pretty fucking crazy. Let me let Kathy back in here. Pretty fucking crazy. So let's hear where there's a little more going on. Big clap. I love that kind of shit. So we don't normally go through all the drums because that would take fucking another hour, but I just wanted to show you guys, you know, it was one of these examples where the live situation really connected with the programming situation. And because we started on this song, you know, live and then kind of honed it a bit more on the programming side, this is one of those interesting songs where the song was recorded first as a live version at Clouds Hill Studios, Clouds Hill's recordings. And I think you can get it on that special release that we did. And it's super cool. There's also a studio version. Probably the basis of this is on the I think it's called the We're Here With You version, and it's on Time Capsule. And that's more of like a studio version. But the live version that we did of this song was directly after playing all these shows, and we had a bunch of fans come into the studio with us in the fucking recording studio. We had the band all set up, and we recorded the song with people sitting at my feet, live, everybody at the same time. In that way, we did it like Edema does it, like a live band, you know? And the SDS sessions, that's right. And that's so fucking cool because we don't do that a lot, especially not with like some fans like sitting right there that win like a contest, right? And it's honestly some of the coolest songs that we have. And they're totally recorded live. Like we didn't go back in and, you know, there's not anything like that. They're mixed and it's live and it is awesome. And so yeah, Fail with Grace was live, was completely live. Yeah, all of it. We played all 4 songs front to back live, like a show, and recorded it in a studio. So I think that that's something else that makes those songs super special. And I think it makes this song really, really special that it sounded that good and that big. And it really shows how the band sounded back then. I mean, we were on a fucking high. You know, I think that right now, musically and live performance wise, the new way we're doing this as a 3-piece, I think the band, if you guys saw us on this tour, I think we're at that level right now again. I think it's at an incredible level of performance. And I think that after everything we've been through, I think just having me and Amir be the main portions together on stage with an incredible drummer, whether it's Galen or Elias, I think it just focuses it on the people that really are making the music, can play all the music perfectly, and are so in sync after 25 years that I think that it's at a high level. We were at that level in this era as well, and that's why we were so comfortable recording, you know, 4 songs with people in the room with us. I mean, so if we made mistakes or we did something weird or it didn't work, we didn't have to stop and start over, and we didn't do that. We just played and we did it and we played it perfect. So that on that recording, I'm singing and playing the guitar at the same time without cleanups. I'm just, you know, that for me is like a big deal. So yeah, they were really, really good takes. Rudy just wrote there. It's super, super cool. It's definitely something to listen to if you want to compare it to the We're Here With You one that's on Time Capsule, to the SDS sessions. You can really, now that you know this, you can really know the difference that this is the band live, completely live with microphones set up in the room. There you go, with the fans hearing that. And the other one is a studio version. And so we thought that would be cool to do on the Time Capsule because you could get a different take of that song. But I think that because SDS sessions sound so good, a lot of people don't know that it's completely live, and that's very, very, very cool. But you can hear the difference when you listen. So what I have here today is a super raw version of the studio version. So it's not EQ'd. You know, it's going to sound a little different. It's going to sound a little weird. It isn't. You know, every single track isn't treated and all that kind of good stuff. But I think that's cool, and I think that that's why we're doing it like this. So let's go through and start with the bass. And you guys know you can raise your hand and ask me questions. You know, and I am reading the chat, and I am going back and forth a little bit to YouTube. Which, oh wow, actually people on YouTube are like, wow, this is so interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, I hope it is interesting. I think that the cool thing about these sessions are, I think, the people that really care about the band really get to see inside of the band and inside of our minds and talk with us about the songs, and we all learn a bunch more, and it's a fucking fun way to spend an afternoon. All right, so let's get into the bass. I'm going to get on. You can see that there's, a bunch of tracks. Doesn't look like there's audio on every one of them, but let's just solo all of it really quick so I can kind of just hear what's going on. You can see there's more coming in. Right? Kind of cool. So there, it sounds like there's an actual, acoustic, real bass being played. Sounds really big. Very cool. And then it's going to go back to this kind of like noise hits. So there's some concepts going on there. The concept of side chaining was definitely just beginning to happen, and we would mimic the side chain feeling, and it's kind of a disco feeling, boom, bop, 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 right? You accentuate these upbeats and stuff, and it's kind of like a rhythmic, interesting thing, and we would mimic that kind of stuff by our playing and by recording these additional instruments like. You put that together all in the song, and you get that kind of sidechain sort of feel, which kind of to us at the time kind of made it a little bit modern. It's kind of an organic way to create that without doing the sidechain effect. We definitely did a lot of that. So it looks like this right here would be more of our classic tone, right? It's like a fuzz, and then add it into the synth bass, and you really start getting you guys know by now how we do a lot of what we do. There's typically a synth bass or a layered synth bass. There's an additional hit, like sometimes hits, which create that side chaining kind of feel, and then we usually have a real bass either on choruses or through the whole song. So you kind of see a bit of a pattern. We were definitely really, really, really getting there on this song. Ryan, my brother.
So I got you. So around that time, that was when Foo was playing with you guys live too, right? He was playing bass.
Give me 1 second. I think that
we got a delay, I think. So around that time, that was when Foo was playing.
There we go. I had both audios on. All right. I was like, who the fuck is talking? It wasn't ruining the audio for you, was it?
I couldn't hear myself, but it seems like there's a delay on one end.
Got it. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Got it. Sorry, there was I had the computer muted, YouTube on, and again, just running multiple systems now on this machine while we're doing this. There's always something unpredictable, so I apologize. But
no worries, man. So so when you were a 4-piece at the time when you were playing this live and trying to work it out, and Foo was playing bass, and so maybe that contributed to how big that sound was, probably for this track.
Yeah, an interesting thing is back then, because Foo was with the band and because we were still kind of coming off of like this, orgy and being just a much bigger band, we actually rolled out with more shit too. Foo was playing keyboards, bass, multiple instruments, and running, 16 tracks of audio out of there as well. So you had this full separated 16 tracks of audio. Now, what we do now, I would argue, is even bigger, but we use technology to solve a lot of those problems that honestly, I don't think were solvable in that way back then. But we did have that unique situation where Foo was a multi-instrumentalist genius guy. on this track, he could be playing bass and then turn around and go to the piano parts done at live, you know, and that's an incredible thing about doing this stuff with Foo. And you know, if we ever tour with Foo again, which could be possible, it would be a really, really fun thing to do. The only thing is now we've solved so much of it in such a elegant and incredible way that sounds so good that it's tough now to undo some of it, to let more people play it. You know, it's definitely one of those equations. You know, you just don't know exactly where you're going to go with it. And then there's also the idea of being sustainable and knowing that we can count on this way that we're doing things. You know what I mean? And you involve another person, you have to undo it all and build it a different way, and it's crazy. But yeah, we were doing some shit that honestly you can't do unless you have a guy like Foo in your live entourage. You know, you just can't do it. You know, there's reprogramming and redoing and remapping, and it's every fucking day to do the way we were doing that, you know. So it's good observation. Really good observation. All right, so I'm gonna keep on moving along over here. Let's get into some guitars, which I think you'll be surprised at because it's not what you think. So here we are on main guitars. And you guys might remember a little bit about what we were doing at that time. They weren't super overdriven guitars. Do you guys remember, like, the We're Here With You record is not, it's not the orgy style, fuzzy, you know, super present, you know, takes up this much of the bandwidth type of guitars. It was more clear. It was like we call it dirty clean. So it's more like a clean tone. Weirdly enough, but when you play that dirty clean with a heavy bass on a 7-string, which I wrote this on a 7-string, because you can hear, you know, when those chords go really low. I mean, that's obviously, you can only do that on that. You get this Rage Against the Machine-like effect. So Rage Against the Machine instrumentation is really interesting. Tom Morello is more of a clean guitar player, and the low end and the punchiness, the heaviness of Rage Against the Machine is the bass player and the drummer, and it's fucking astounding. In Dead by Sunrise, I might have told you guys this story before, but when we were doing Dead by Sunrise rehearsals, initially, Rage Against the Machine was rehearsing next door to us, and it was just the band was there, just the bass. Actually, excuse me, just the bass player and the drummer. Just the bass player and the drummer. It was blowing our fucking brains out. I mean, me and Chester were just outside the door, just laughing, going like, "Oh my God." It was the heaviest shit I've ever heard of. And it was just the bass player and the drummer. So they're holding that motherfucker down. And Tom is putting the color on it, everything. And he's, you know, he locks in for some of the heavy parts, but, you know, he's a lot of rhythm and all sorts of fantastic stuff. Tom Morello's fucking genius. But we were doing stuff like that in here. And I think you'll hear, and Damone, I'll answer you in 1 second. I think you'll kind of hear with these guitars, check it out, not the heaviest thing in the world. And check it out, one track of this. I mean, it's a little more crunch, but certainly not an orgy level or harmonic disruptor level of guitar, right? So let's add in the bass. No, it's not letting me. Well, let's try this. There we go. Right, so it's an interesting thing, and it's one of those examples of us leaving room again, leaving room for the song to be heavy, but not in the way that most people do it, which is just these huge heavy guitar. It takes up everything. You actually can be heavy, as you guys know from doing these sessions with me, by, you know, filling out that EQ spectrum and being clever. You know, so that's something that we do a lot. And I'm unmuting you, Damone, my friend.
All right, hello there. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Hold on, let's see. Oh, am I good?
Yeah, you're good, my brother.
Excellent, excellent. No, I just wanted to make a comment about the bass players or
Mhm.
bass players. So whenever I teach my students how to play
Mhm.
bass, one of the first things I tell them is that you are low key the band leader. You are the foundation
Mhm.
for the band, and that doesn't get commented on enough. Bass players or anyone who plays in those lower frequency spectrums, they are key to the group. And it's like you said before, the guitarists, the drummers, they add the flavor, they add the color. Like, for instance, if you were to play a series of complex chords, your F sharp, what is it, F sharp sus13s, your A minor nines, all of that good
Mhm.
stuff. That's great and all, but without the low end, that's the foundation, something gets lost. You get this dissonant. There's like a ton of dissonance associated with those
Mhm.
voicings. The But the foundational element, that's what glues everything together. So I just want to comment on that. Anyone out there who plays bass, you're more
Mhm.
important than what we give you credit. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think you're nailing it on the head. I think that people really underestimate how important an incredible bass player is because they feed into not only melody but they feed into the rhythm and
mhm,
they're playing with the drums. You know,
exactly.
so a great bass player really makes the drums heavier and they really nail down the rhythm of the band. And it can change a band so much. And we've had situations in Julien-K because we played with ancillary artists. You know, we've had different people in the band at different times, and we've had better and worse bass players. And we really noticed that when the bass is not incredible, when the bass player isn't better than us, which is hard because we're pretty fucking good at what we
Mhm.
do. It's not good. It's hard. The whole band is not as good, and
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons I think that it was so good in this era, and it's so good right now live because we've solved the bass in a very clever way,
Right.
and it's basically us playing. You know, so it's super clever and it sounds. We're both pretty good bass players, me and Amir, and it sounds amazing now. And so it's you're right. You kind of nail it on the head. It affects everything.
Keith is actually making a very good point. He says they make the ladies dance. They make the ladies
Yes.
dance. Now,
Yes.
so I'll say this. I once knew of a guy who had a hearing impairment. He would go out, he and his brother would go out to nightclubs and he's on the floor and he's dancing like to the rhythm. And people were confused. They're like, wait a minute, he can't hear anything. How is he dancing? It's like, no, he can feel those lower registers through the floorboards, and that's what he's dancing to.
Mm.
And so Keith, to your point, yes, those lower level frequencies, you don't just hear them, you feel them.
Yeah.
They hit your chest cavity, you feel them underneath your feet. It's extremely important. It attacks a whole other level of sensory. So
Isn't that
yeah,
amazing that
yeah.
someone that's hearing impaired could feel the vibration of music and be moved still? I mean, it's pretty intense. It's a pretty incredible concept. Did you guys ever watch or did you ever see the movie on Apple TV? It was about the only girl in her family that could hear, and she is a really great singer. What's it called? It won some awards. It's really fucking good. Really fucking good. It's like a name. It's like fucking Ella or some shit. I can't remember the name. Coda. Yeah,
Mhm.
Jason. God, I love you, Jason. You're a fucking encyclopedia over here of pop culture. Yeah, Coda. Coda. I would recommend watching Coda. It really gets into that kind of a concept where, you know, honestly, it made me really understand what it would be like to, you know, have to live a life not being able to hear and how you can still communicate with music. It's pretty incredible. Definitely recommend watching it. Really illustrates Keith's comment. And oh my God, Chris, your little baby is the cutest damn thing that I've seen this entire day. That is the cutest face that I think a baby can have. Well, his parents are handsome, so I mean that works. All right, Damone, that was awesome. I'm going to mute you
Yes,
and
sir.
and go ahead and lower your hand. But hit me back if you have any other questions, because those are awesome comments and questions so far. So let me just go and look over here and see what this little guitar is. Looks like this is an area where it gets heavier. So you can see how it's like a handoff. And you can see that we obviously went a little bit more into like that fuzzy type of thing here. And then it's gonna hand right off. So that's purely done for dynamics. And then here's where a 7-string becomes so important. So I personally thought that tone on a 7-string, even though it's not overly distorted, I personally thought when I was playing that and doing this song, I thought it was the fucking heaviest. I thought it sounded super heavy. And that got me into doing some of the lower register baritone stuff without having to be overly distorted. It got me into that idea because this just sounds, I mean, there's something pure about it. Let's listen to it again. Let's listen to the change. Pretty powerful. Stack of guitars here. Now that's a really cool part because that's a slide from like, you know, down at the bottom. Wow. Wow. And if you don't do that slide, you know, a lot of people would make it sound like it's very hard to do. We call them phantom notes. So there are these, we do them a lot, by the way. So if we're gonna hit a chord, we'll go, somebody might normally go chord, chord, chord. A lot of times we'll go slide chord, chord, and it makes it sound different, and we call them a phantom note. So you go zhing, zhing, right? So there's a little zhing before it. We do a lot of these little tricky things from the orgy days on, and they're just little, you know, stylistic types of things that are really difficult to do. And a lot of people can't do them right, and a lot of people don't understand how they make the music sound different, but it does make the music sound different. So this would be an idea. We were so good at that at the time. We could just do this. You're really hitting dong, 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 right? But we're not. We're going womp, 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 womp. I mean, we're covering like 12 frets. So let's listen to it again. And it's pretty powerful. You know, if you don't do it right, it doesn't sound right. Fucking crazy. So that's another little thing where people often think it's just dun. I've watched people play this. They go dun, 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 and it's not. It's wow, 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 wow. And there's just a perfect amount of sliding into it and sliding out, but it's almost undiscernible. And Damone, you said you look like you've got something good, so hit me.
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. and it's kind of technical.
I love you.
Okay.
You're so fucking awesome.
Sorry.
That's good. I just you see the light go on, and it's so fucking funny. It's totally a musician. I love it.
So here's the idea. Okay. So when you play the guitar back, that slide, it almost sounds as if though the guitar on the left speaker finished prior to the guitar on the right, finished after the guitar on the right speaker. So you have like this little, not, I wouldn't even call it, they're playing in unison basically, right? So I just had an idea. You remember how earlier we were talking about side chaining? Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, what you could potentially do is like how can I put this? Like, say for example, if you have like a reverb on like an auxiliary bus or something along those lines, right? Well, what you could do is you could side chain the reverb or whatever it just so happens to be, right? And use the main track as like the side chain component or what's being detected. So making a long story short, while you're playing the guitar, you can't hear anything from the auxiliary bus, but depending on how you set the attack or release for the compressor, the moment you stop playing, you'll hear like you'll hear that string noise or that resonance after the fact.
It kind of is side chaining.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that sounds like something that I'm going to try that.
I'm just throwing it out there. You should. No, that's cool. That's cool. Everyone, you just went so far over so many heads, but I totally hear you. No, it's good. And it's funny because Amir might be able to break that down into like, I mean, he needs me to prompt him, but he might actually be able to make that, understandable to everyone. But no, what you're saying is essentially side chaining in a different way, which is totally cool. It's totally awesome. And so what's happening when those guitars, they are all obviously, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or 5 tracks on top of one another here. And what's happening when they're not finishing at the same time? So for us, and you can even hear there's a slight tuning issue too. There's a little, because when you're doing something like that, it's like the difference between someone who can really play well and can just play is 1,000,000% on something like that. When you're trying to double, triple, quadruple, and then 5x a layer like that. But there's a little bit of the slight dissonance that we like. So there's a little bit of it that we don't want flawless, you know what I mean? Because it gives it an effect, which gave you that idea, right? It gives it that sort of like, it's almost like there's not a whole lot of effects on that. It just sounds like it, right? So it's
right, because you don't want you don't want everything in tune and quantized. You do want that garage band type feel to things.
And this literally kind of has that. You can hear the tuning right at the top. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So so that is definitely something that I think is something we do a lot, and this song has a good illustration of it. A good illustration of, we made that kind of a hook. And even though it sounds like a hit, it's actually not a hit. It's a slide, and I think that it's a good illustration for how we do a lot of our songs and how we make a lot of the notes not sound typical and the chords not sound typical. And as we go through different, we continue going down these DECODE radio sessions, I'll definitely show you guys when we do those, when we can kind of find parts of it. Admittedly, we did it a lot more on Orgy. And another band that does it is Deadsy. Deadsy did a lot of it too. Yeah. He's got a lot of really, he's a fucking amazing guitar player, and he does a lot of clever shit. And it's something. Elijah is just fantastic. He's a fucking brilliant guitar player, and he does a lot of really cool stuff like that. And I think that influenced us a bit too, just like I'm sure we influenced him. But definitely seeing him, make chords sound more unique was a really cool trick. Jason, I tend to overuse slight string bends on chords. How so? Tell me. Let me unmute you. Sorry, buddy.
Just on like a little bit of chords is like adding that color like you're talking about. Like I'll pull off in the middle of one like with a slight string bend, so you're like little like dip as I go to the next one. Yeah.
Why do you think you overuse it?
Because once you find something that sounds cool, you just keep doing it, and you don't realize that you're doing it, and then you have to stop doing it.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to dole out the cool. You know what I mean? Like in like a smart way. It's fucking hard. I know.
At a point, then people are just like, man, he's really fucking sloppy.
Yeah. Well, you know what you got to do sometimes when you have something like that, and I totally get it, is you really do have to, you have to go back and listen to the whole thing again and take a lot of it out, you know, unfortunately, and then just keep it on that special time here or there, or really figure out how to highlight it so people notice it, you know, and things like that. It's just, it's hard stuff, I tell you. I know that you're in the fucking muck with all of us here. It's tough. Chris Jenkins just said Dedsy just posted some new stuff. I'll have to go back and watch. Elijah just texted me yesterday, so hopefully I'll get to see him and we can hang out. And I always encourage him to please keep making Dedsy. So hopefully that happens. Maybe I can. Well, I tried to encourage Edema to keep doing Edema, and now I'm the fucking singer. So you know, we'll see how that goes. That worked out really well for me, but oh my gosh, it's a lot of work. Not that I could be, you know, Deadsy's singer. I mean, Elijah is just too incredible. So hopefully that will happen. I know Deadsy and JK tour. That's actually what I want. So that's what I try to encourage. All right, so let's keep on moving here. So it looks like at the end, there's a little bit of different stuff going on. Let's find out what it is. Guys hear that slide in? Guys hear that? It's another thing that, again, those little details are all over this song. And those are little tricks to, you know, making these songs sound correct when you play it. It's pretty cool. Obviously we muted in between. Little detail. Yep. So all those little slides and everything, those are tricky little things to do. Even trickier when you're singing. And so I was just, I mean, it's one of these rare times where honestly, I'm super fucking proud of myself during this era when we were doing this every night. I was just like, we would get done with the song and I'd want to turn around and go, woo, you know, I fucking did it. You know, I was so happy because all those little notes, when you're in my band, privately, secretly, the things that we really love are when we do all these parts right. Because there's tricky little things that the audience doesn't hear. I could pretty easily live, I could go, I could just go, dun, 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 ba ma 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 ma, right? No one would notice. But internally, on stage, as we're playing, you know, we're corner eye peeking, and we're listening for all those tiny little things to play them perfect together. And I think that those are, you know, just some of those little tricks that, you know, I think makes a band sound, you know, like the way it's supposed to sound. A great example would be, you know, the band that I helped found, Orgy. If you hear like the original Orgy and the Orgy now, even though they're kind of playing somewhat of the songs, it's not the same because they're not doing all the things that we did. And it's kind of not something that you could do unless you sat with us and we taught you every fucking nuance. And in a band like that, where every part is very particular, you know, we did a lot of very particular things on the guitars, and you kind of have to do that, or it's not going to sound the same. You kind of have to play them the same way, and there's a definite way that you do this stuff. And it's the same if someone tried to play Julien-K songs without a lot of these things, it would sound very vanilla. You know, it sound very kind of, you know, average. You know, so it's a big deal. All these little things are a very, very big deal. So, okay, let's keep moving here down to keyboard land. A lot of stuff going on here. So, we're going to start with...
Dreams come true, but I feel it's tearing away. It's using your face. It's making its way through you.
So, that's a classic Ryan keyboard part. Super, you know, anthem, big, This shit made me just love the song. So it was one of those things. I'm not a great keyboard player, but I can write and play and everything. And it probably had to have Fu play it correctly afterwards because there's a little bit of like note weirdness. But that kind of shit, that made, when we kind of got these parts working, I was like, this is going to be a fucking song. This is like an anthem. We have to play this live. And indeed, live, when that part kicked in and Fu would play that shit, I mean, it was really rad live. I mean, it's just... I mean, that is like, so that's just keyboard hook 101, just super arena feeling, definitely just crushed it at festivals and stuff. I just loved when that came in. And so that is, you know, I don't usually write a lot of like lead synth parts and stuff, but sometimes I do. And when I do, I fucking drop a bomb. And that is definitely a bomb. Definitely a really, really cool synthesizer part that I'm super proud of, and I'm super love. So let's see what else is going on in here. Fu, just crushing it. So a lot of people don't know, Fu can classically play piano. Like, completely play piano. Like, fucking nobody's business. Can play everything. Orchestra. So that is super cool, and that is a great example of, you know, a lot of people wonder what exactly does Fu do in our band, and you can just hear it right there. I mean, that's just fucking, you know, we kind of all knew that this is the kind of stuff that we need, and maybe we can kind of ham-fistedly create some of this, you know, Amir and I, but Fu can just sit down and play the classical parts just completely well. He does a ton of great stuff with us, but that is a great example. And then let's put it all together. Just how awesome he is. Big difference between what we both do. Super cool. And this again is one of these things that, one of these parts that, this is one of the reasons I love this song so much. It's heavy. It's a lot of gratifying guitar playing. The vocals are complex. It's not something everyone can sing. There's melody. It really goes into some serious key changes. It does some anthem-like stuff, and then it goes into some big melodic stuff, and then drops into an extremely powerful key change. And those are the kind of things in songwriting that you just kill for. I mean, you just fucking, oh my God, it's like, please, let's figure that out. And we do it on this song, and that's why I love it so much. And there's this incredible, you know, there's this heavy guitar stuff with incredible orchestral shit. And that when you do something like that live, that is really fun. It's really big. And that is something that, you know, when you can do something with a guy like Fu during this era, that is a very, very cool and powerful thing to do that we don't get to do a lot now. We get to do other cool stuff, but, you know, having some sort of a part like that is really, really incredible and very special. Mr. Damone, yes, sir.
Have you guys ever considered doing a track with a local symphony orchestra? sort of like a Peter Gabriel-esque type thing, but it's a little involved, but
Yeah, it's a little involved.
Yeah.
That's the reason why, and because we can create a lot of it on our own, we tend to, there is more of this kind of stuff going on in our music, and definitely in the film scores and stuff that we've done. But I think that at the end of the day, if we want that, we just end up creating it in here. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the things. The economic factors of being in an independent type of situation like us really sometimes can limit you in a good way and limit you in maybe a not as good way. And one of those ways is, there are certain things we just try not to bang our head against too hard. Like something like that, which would take a lot of organization, a lot of figuring things out, a lot of favors, a lot of trying to get people to do stuff for free, a lot of, it's hard. And you want to save those shots for the things that are gonna really matter, like the most important things that you guys love. That's what we try to focus on. And then of course we try to combine that with things that make the band money. And obviously not just to have, money for the vain reasons, but the reasons to keep the band going and to be able to do these things and be able to create new music, right? So I've said that a million times, but you got to really find the intersection in art where you're right there, and making some sort of money, really making something that your fans love and making something that you love, right? And you gotta, when you think like this in this triangle, it excludes tons of other shit. So being productive and creative professionally often means exclusion, often means overlooking or kind of walking past other things that could be fun, because I think that could be really fun. But that being said, if an opportunity like that kind of presented itself, we would totally do it. But it definitely, maybe it'd be something that's scaled down, maybe like 4 orchestra pieces, you know what I mean, with the band or something could be really, really cool. I think that would be really, really rad. Need this one at one of the Den shows in the future. Funny enough, Jason, this song actually would translate acoustically really well. I would just have to break out a 7-string acoustic, which I think I own. I just haven't played it in a long time. Oh my God, that would hurt my fingers. Jesus. All right. Oh, thank you, Damone. Gosh, you guys are so good. So good. All right. So synth stuff, let's kind of keep looking here. I think that there's just a little bit more before we get into lyrics. So it's just kind of, it's built now into a full-on part. You guys can hear it. Really, a song on its own. Even without the guitars, I could write something to this. Another little element on top there. Ooh, ooh. Coming right up. Ooh. Really cool. Jeez, just super. I mean, it's complex. I just love it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hit. Everything together with some voices. You get to hear that little hit. Woo, woo. So, when I look at this, it's another one of those examples of, I see a song that has incredible complexity, that, I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. We haven't even gotten to the vocals yet. I mean, there's quite a bit going on, and it doesn't step all over itself. You know, it doesn't walk all over itself. And that's what I think is really special. I mean, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 tracks of stereo loops. What the fuck were we thinking? And it really doesn't sound like a disaster. It doesn't sound like a mess. You know, I mean, this is 12 tracks. Really sounds, doesn't sound like a disaster, you know, and it's just a shocking situation that we were able to kind of pull that off. And it's really fun, you know. When I was digging into this song for this session, I just really kind of had a good time going back and listening to all this stuff that we did, and you know, again, seeing that the choices that we made allowed us to not have it, you know, step all over itself and make a big mess out of it. Just really, really a cool amount of choices and balancing of what looks to me like 90 tracks of music. I mean, it's just insanity. It really doesn't sound like that. So now let's take a look at the vocals, which is really, for you guys here on YouTube and everything, the main reason we do Decode Radio, as opposed to We're Working on It Fuckers, which is another session that we do. Decode Radio is a little bit more about the songwriting, so it's more about my vocals, but I go through the song and tell the story about what we do because I can talk about it differently than Amir or Fu would. They're much more technical, which is why we created We're Working on It Fuckers, which is similar to this, but it's with their perspective. I remember things differently than they do. They tell stories differently than I do. I have a different perspective than they do. And with my sessions, the unique thing is that you're going to get a deep dive into the vocals. And that's kind of the main thrust of what we're doing here. So I have the lyrics over here on this other page. But in the meantime, I'm going to kind of cruise through and sort of look at this a little bit. So I'm going to get back to this page. So
forget your face, to make myself clean and new. I feel it pounding away. It's
single vocal,
inside my brain.
no doubles.
It's nothing to do with you.
Well, super cool. Something we don't do a lot. Just my vocal, no doubles and shit. Let's get into verse 2 here.
Inside I'm wasting away. I'm feeling insane. I'm running
Again,
away from you.
Pretty simple.
I know this isn't a game. You're feeling your way. You're making your dreams come true. But I feel it's tearing away. It's using your face. It's making its way through you. This nightmare's crashing down on me, raining down on me. No one to blame but me. I see that taking control of me, taking away from me, breaking away from me.
So you can see I added in that low as well there, and then we have a stack finally starting to happen. A little bit more of a classic Julien-K treatment.
On me, raining down on me, no one to blame but me. I see that taking control of me, taking away from me, breaking away from me. Whoa. They'll try to take me as away. Twilight falls, we crumble. They'll try to take me away. Whoa. They'll try to take me away.
So you can hear now we're really getting into, and you can see visually, it's quite a stack starting to happen. And to treat each part differently, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. You can see that we're treating it differently, starting here, right?
But I feel it
There's a distortion added in there, as well as two vocal
using
stacks.
your face. It's making its way through you. This nightmare's
See, these are on different
crashing
tracks here
down
because
on
they're
me,
completely treated
raining
differently than the other
down on
vocals.
me. No one to blame but me. I see they're taking control of me, taking away from me, breaking away from me.
So it's also relatively complex melody. If you wanted to play it on a guitar, bum 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 bum. You know, there's some stuff going on there, and so you got to get all of those vocals, you know, really right on. You know, doing a lower one on top of there as well.
This nightmare's crashing
Down on me,
raining
down on me,
no one to blame
but me.
I see
they're
taking
Gotta nail 'em all right.
Taking away from me, breaking away from me. Whoa. They'll try.
So you can see that's obviously the whoas part. Treated differently. Sounds like it's in a fucking tunnel. Really, really cool. I mean, again, you can see all of these are very separated. There's a bunch of different vocal tracks here. And that's because each vocal on a pretty complex chorus like this that just builds and builds and builds and then drops into this cool sub level, you know, we had to treat every vocal special so that they would stand out and be indeed unique and indeed build, instead of me just singing it all in one, you know, on 3 tracks and just treating them different with effects. They're all separated. It's good breath control, keeping your note through all that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a challenge to sing it, and I think it's super cool. I appreciate that. It is definitely something that's you have to learn how to do. Rob, yeah, it sounds like you're singing it right here on the spot. Yeah, and I was a little bit. Can really tell the difference on the Vox and the SDS version versus this. Yeah, so this one has all these layers. So the cool thing is you guys can go back now and you can listen to the SDS version live, where it's really more of a track of me singing. There's basically one main vocal track. So you're gonna get more of a vibe for my performance live, of like what it would really be like, how I sound recorded in one kind of, not like this, how I sound recorded in one kind of monolithic sort of take. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. A lot of our songs start out like that. But to build the song dynamically and to make it into the kind of the epic thing that we have now, you can see we really took that extra care to. Can you hear how separate things are?
They'll try to take me as twilight falls, we crumble. They'll try to take me away. They'll try to take me away.
Super cool. So let's keep moving over here a little bit more. And here I want to have.
I need to.
Okay, so this is another interesting trick that we do. So this is verse 2. Now you can see that verse 2 is on a different track. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's right over here. Verse 1 in the beginning is right up here. So it's very clean.
I need to throw you away, to
Forget your face,
to make myself
clean and new. Almost sounds like I'm just singing right here, right? Well, this one, to make it, again, this is like a lesson in dynamics. To make this verse better and feel like something new is happening.
I need to swallow my
See how there's a weird effect on it? There's a
running
distortion
away.
that's sort of gated.
All that I made with you. In time we went separate ways. I'm living the pain. I'm learning to see through you. But I want.
It's kind of weird, right? On its own, it doesn't sound good. It sounds weird. But in the track, those weird endings, the weird, like, you know, like the word The word ends like this. It's really odd. It's just more weird tricks, you know, more ways to just fuck with the vocal to make it different than the first verse, even though I'm singing really the same way. And again, that'll be a difference that you would hear on the SDS version versus like the studio version that's on Time Capsule. So another great reason that this song is fun to go through with you is because there is two versions of it, and a lot of you have really heard it. And now we're really able to illustrate how different they are and the difference between like a live recording of the band and a real studio recording of the band. Oh, Kevin you've heard this song live. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. So yeah, Amir's removing my S's. It's probably that too. But so let's hear the difference between coming out of that chorus or that verse into the first pre-chorus.
Ways I'm living the pain. I'm learning to see through you, but I want to tear you apart.
Definitely distortion on there.
Rip out your heart, to crash through the soul in you. This nightmare's crashing down on me, raining down on me. No one to blame but me. I see they're taking control of me, taking away from me, breaking away from me. Whoa. They'll try to take me as away. As twilight falls, we crumble. They'll try to take me away. Whoa. They'll try to take me as away. As our statues tumble. They'll try to take me away. Whoa. They'll try to take me away.
Super cool. Lot of stacking, lot of fun stuff. And again, one of those scenarios where there's a lot going on vocally here, and we can all see that. But live, I can actually sing all this in kind of one line. You know, I can do. Oh, they'll try to take me as twilight falls, we crumble. They'll try to take me. Someone in the band can sing that part. And I can go, whoa. Try to take me as our statues tumble. Try to take me away. Whoa. They'll try to take me away. So it's something that we can actually do live, even though there's all these stacked elements. It's actually something it's pretty fun to do. So at the end of the song here, what do we have here? They'll try to take me away. Okay, can you guys hear that vocoder in there? It's pretty crazy. So let me get down there and isolate that a bit more. It's a lot. Oh my gosh, look how many vocal tracks there are. All right.
They'll try to take me away.
Pretty crazy, right? Can you hear that a lot better now?
They'll try to take me away. They'll try to take me away. They'll try to take me away.
So that's just a lot of wizardry. I mean, that's just crazy stuff. I love vocoders. I was definitely in Julien-K. I've used a lot of vocoders, you guys can tell. I mean, Someday Soon is like totally vocoder central. I love vocoders. I haven't used them for a while. Maybe I'll start breaking them back out again. I probably should break them back out again because it's definitely something that works for the brand of this band. It definitely with Someday Soon, we really made it, you know, a thing. It's the main chorus vocal. So yeah, I mean, it's you know, at this time especially, I mean, I still, during this era, love vocoders, and that was just a super cool way to include them and make it kind of like a hook, you know. So basically, hopefully you guys can kind of hear why, to me, this song is such a fucking interesting and complex and cool song. it's fun to break it all down and show you guys how much went into making it, you know, and making the 2 different versions and all that kind of cool stuff. Before we get into the lyrics, let me, Timon, right? I saw you use the microKORG during Project Rev. Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, I use, I had a couple of microKORGs sitting right behind me. I have about 4 of those because I used to break them on stage all the time. And yeah, I used to play the microKORG live. And one of the reasons I don't set up a bunch of keyboards anymore on stage is just, again, we could do that, but it just, when you become a real touring entity, you just got to be careful about how much crap you're bringing out and how much you get on stage. You got to come up with elegant ways to, you know, make this stuff work. You know what I mean? It's hard to make all that work live and break it out every day and have it set up and all that good stuff. So, lyrically, hopefully you guys can see the words right now. Anyone care to take a stab at what I might be kind of talking about? Anyone have any just, you know, ideas or feelings on the song that what it kind of, you know, what they think it means? Or yes, Timon.
Well, to me, it just sounds like a relationship that needs to be, that doesn't need to be a relationship that needs to be done away with. You know,
Yes.
just that's how they say a toxic relationship.
Uh-huh.
And you've come to the realization that you're better off without this particular individual in your life. I believe you said it once. You are the average of the 5 people to whom you surround yourself.
Yes.
And this is just one of those people that needs to be out of that circle.
Yeah. You definitely have hit a portion of what the song's about. Absolutely. It's got another twist to it. But yeah, absolutely. That was great.
All right.
All right, Kevin. Uh-oh, you're muted. Okay. Hey, now you're there.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, like this was like my favorite song like 10 years ago. You guys have a habit of like putting out music, and then there's like one song that sticks out to me at that point in time that resonates the most. This was that song for "We're Here with You," and I got "We're Here with You" late, obviously, because this came with the second version of it.
Uh-huh.
So, at the time, I was going through like a friendship breakup with a guy who was like a big brother friend of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as a result of something that I did that I couldn't account for.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like a sense of guilt on my side, but a sense of overreaction on their side, and just the dissonance between that and me just trying to figure it out, and just like my whole world, like, you know, crumbling on me.
Mm-hmm.
That was my takeaway from this song at the time. Understanding what you guys went through at that time, it kind of makes a little bit more sense in the context of, you know, you got yourself into a rough situation that you can't get out of, but you have to, you know, take what you can own up for on your own, and not let the other stuff eat you alive, and like you have to move on. And that's why I like it. It's like a Rocky song, you know, it's like an anthem. You know, it's "You're Gonna Fly Now." So that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's fucking awesome. Okay, you definitely hit on a lot of it. I'm still got a little twist. Simon.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
I'm not being sexy. I've got a cold, so I've got a bad voice.
I was just gonna say, hey, Mr. Sexy Voice.
Hey, Ryan. Do you know the song "Death on Two Legs" by Queen?
How's it go?
Yeah, with this voice, very good. It's about a bad relationship with their first manager, and it's about their manager screwing them and how he was a shark and all of that. And this, especially with all of this stuff about, you know, stuff through the face and how things are being seen through entities, it seems to be like a breakup with a bad record label or someone that you had a business relationship with.
Very interesting.
Oh, wrong.
No. You know what? I have a unique twist on this. Want me to go ahead? Anyone else got an idea? That you're not in the wrong. It's a little off, but it's not wrong. It makes complete sense. Anyone else got an idea here before I break it out? Okay. All right. So let me pop it back up again. So Simon actually kind of nailed some stuff on the head in terms of like, you know, the relationship that ended up happening with that manager and all that kind of stuff. But this song was written before that. So that's why it's kind of not really wrong, because it definitely has some tinges of this type of situation, like a bad relationship in this song. And what Kevin said and Damone said, it makes a ton of sense. Here's the twist. You guys have often heard me say that the things that are happening in our lives, and this isn't, I'm not saying this in a way to beat yourself up, but they're not someone else's fault. It's the way that I look at it. If something bad's happening, what was my part to play? Shit very often, or very, it's not very often that things happen to us that it's just out of nowhere and, oh my gosh, you know, a car just fell out of the sky and landed on my house or whatever it is. A lot of the shit we create, you know, a lot of the people that treat us shitty, we're around them and we choose to be around them, or we choose to let them in our lives, so on and so forth. And this is where you guys all kind of got a piece of it right. This is influenced by a relationship that I was in that was not good and was very troublesome. It wasn't a manager yet. It was a girlfriend and someone that, you know, I was, you know, very into at the time, but it was just a fucking nightmare. But the real person I was in a bad relationship with was myself and the my own ego. And this song very, very much is about my own ego making, what part does my ego have to play? And I don't mean just my ego in, oh my God, I'm so good. Oh my God, that's not really what I mean. I mean ego as in the self, like the person. Like I am the biggest problem in my life. You know what I mean? I am the one that really causes all this shit in the bad relationships. You know, I can handle a ton of things differently. And I've learned a lot since then, but at the time, you know, I was definitely a huge part of all of this stuff. So I'm kind of talking to myself and this other person, and it kind of mimics the way things really were. Like I would treat other people that I was in arguments with kind of the way that I felt about myself, really. You know, I need to throw you away, to forget your face, to make myself clean and new. I feel it pounding away. It's inside my brain. It's nothing to do with you. Okay, it's a juxtaposition. I'm mad at you and you're a fucking asshole and you're treating me like shit. I need to I need to refresh. I need to be clean and new, but I feel it pounding away in my own head. It's my own brain and it's nothing to do with you. So I start out in you know, throwing my shit at other people and blaming them, and then I really am just frustrated that it's really me. So inside I'm wasting away, I'm feeling insane, I'm running away from you. I know this isn't a game, you're feeling your way, you're making your dream come true. So you're just kind of living your life, you're doing your thing, you're trying to make your dreams come true. But I feel it's tearing away, it's using your face, it's making its way through you. And it's my ego, my problems are using your face, right? We look at other people all the time as like, you know, they're doing this and this person's a problem in my life and so on and so forth. And very, very seldom do we sit there and look at ourselves and go, well, you know, how much do I play into this? And in this song, I'm really starting to explore the concept that really a lot of this stuff is me. A lot of these problems are my doing. I'm the one that's doing this. I'm the one that's creating these fucking nightmares. This nightmare crashing down on me, raining down on me, no one to blame but me. I see they're taking control of me, taking away from me, breaking away from me. That's sort of more lamenting on the reality that, you know, this nightmare is starting to, I can't sustain this. There is just kind of like the, you know, the people outside of me that are, they're pulling on me and sort of contributing to my own, you know, demise that I'm creating myself. They'll try to take me away. As twilight falls, we crumble. As our lives statues tumble. So they'll try to take me away. I'm kind of going crazy. As twilight falls, we crumble. So as the evening of the lie that we tell ourselves, I'm obsessed with these kind of concepts. As our lives statues tumble, that's basically all the realities and all the importance you put into other people. These statues in your life that you think are constant, they aren't constant. These statues crumble. You know, they start to, when you start to look deeply at, you know, at the whole situation, you know, the things that you thought were laws aren't laws. It's bullshit. And so that's what I'm kind of writing about there. And then a little bit of, you know, I need to swallow my pain, stop running away, face all that I made with you, right? Now you can kind of see I need to accept this. I need to understand this better. I need to, face what I've done. In time, we went separate ways. I'm living the pain. I'm learning to see through you. I want to tear you apart, to rip out your heart, crash through the soul in you. So it ends in kind of violent frustration. Like I'm starting to see that I'm really the problem and you may be a problem, but I'm really the major problem because why am I even around you if I'm, if you're such a bad person? And then of course, violence and frustration at the end, which is just, something you put into these songs because, it's dramatic. But yeah, it kind of like is a voice to the frustration that you feel, excuse me. So does that kind of make some sense to you guys? I like that expression, Simon. Yeah, that's cool. As our live statues crumble. I hate you for that line being so good. That's so funny. Every now and then I come up with good lines, but when I came up with it, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, these guys are gonna hate this fucking song. It's so dumb. So yeah. So anyways, that is our song breakdown. I'm so glad you guys joined me because this is like one of my favorite songs. So cool. Looks like everyone's still there on YouTube as well. That's super cool. If you guys are on YouTube, we do this on Patreon every weekend. We do a different kind of version. So if you guys want to join us in a more cohesive way, join us because I won't always do these live. And yes, guys, we should play the song more. I know, I love these sessions. Super cool, new appreciation for the song. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. This is a really, really loved song of ours, and being able to sit here with you guys and break it down is super, super fun. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go get on my motorcycle and go up to Los Angeles and go to lunch. Woohoo! Thank you guys so much. Sally, thank you. I haven't seen your name before, but welcome. And Shyla, I see your pretty face. Hello. Guys, I miss you so much. I'm gonna see you out with Edema soon. Amir should be taking over while I'm gone. And and he'll be back from Greece and Germany and Hawaii. Holy shit. What a life. And he'll be back with us next week. So thank you guys so much. Simon, enjoy your ride, brother. All right. See you guys. Thank you. See you next week.